This program contains true stories of rescues.
It's First Aid with Kelly Kinkaid.
Right, Shay 4-5 every week we do this segment. We want to help you improve the caliber of your life, mind, body, and spirit. And with that said, Kelly Kinkaid is here. Kelly Kinkaid, good morning.
Good morning, Sway. I was talking, this week has been really hard in Orlando.
Yes.
It's been a lot of things happening. And the Orlando shootings really touched me, and I know it touched a lot of citizens. And moving forward, as we live life, I know people are scared to go out to the club, go shopping, go to school. And today I wanted to talk about how to prepare for this, because as I listened to different accounts of people inside, there was a lot of panic. Mm-hmm. People were falling. And I think that we want to be prepared for things like this, because terrorism is alive and well. Yeah. Different shootings is alive and well. And the more we educate ourselves and become better equipped, maybe we can eliminate some of the casualties. Yeah. And today I have Dr. Antonio J. Webb on the line. Sway, his accolades are so many. I was thinking, how do I introduce this decorated veteran like this? He's a surgeon. He's a decorated veteran from the U.S. Air Force. Mm-hmm. He has a great book called Overcoming the Odds, and he's a Louisiana boy. Good morning, Dr. Webb. How are you today?
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you for having me today.
Absolutely. And, one of the reasons why I really enjoy your book, but one of the reasons why I wanted you to join the show, you've been on the lines in Iraq and Afghanistan. And the more we talk, I felt like your information would be helpful for people listening who are trying to move on and they still want to live life. And what are some accounts? Because tell us about some of the accounts. How could we prepare just if we were at the club or out and someone with a gun is out around? What could we do?
Yeah, and I think a lot of people are very concerned about everything that's going on with the shootings in California and Paris and now Orlando. But they say that learning how to survive a shooting is like learning how to survive a plane crash. There's a low chance that may happen to you, but I think it's important to have some things in mind in place, so if something does happen or there's an active shooter, you can respond appropriately. And I come up with a system, and it's called I call it PEP. The first one is plan, the next one is evacuate, and the third step is to protect. And I can go through that if you like.
Let's do it. Plan.
PEP, plan, evacuate, and protect. Just protect, right?
Yeah.
Okay, let's start with plan. What do you mean by plan? How can you plan for a crisis situation like what happened in Orlando?
Yeah, I think a lot of people would even say that it's one of those things that you actually can't plan for. But I think you can do a number of things. Number one is to stay vigilant. Whatever situation you're in, whether you're out in public or you're out at a ball game, is just maintain situational awareness at all times. Kind of pay attention to your surroundings, kind of look around. One thing that I do, especially coming from Iraq, and I went to Liberia, West Africa, was to, whenever I go into a place, I always look for the nearest exit. So I try to find two exits everywhere I go. So I look for the exit signs.
That's interesting, because even when I park my car, a car, I try to park. Yeah. When Kelly and I travel, I always say park near the exit.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's important to have like an escape route in mind. So if you walk into a location, a grocery store, most people don't know that there's an employee exit sign in the back, that you can actually use this exit if there's a situation that goes on. So just have an escape plan in mind. And so, for instance, if you walk into a location and see an exit sign, I would go out this direction here, this happens, or I go out this direction, kind of alternatively. So just having that in your mindset before anything happens, and just in a normal, non-threatening situation, I think it's important to have that in mind.
And I like the plan. I like the plan because one of the things when I think of P, a lot of people panic, and if you have a plan, that kind of decreases your panicking.
Okay, what about protect?
Yeah, before protect, there's evacuate. And what I mean by this is if there's an active shooter or if there's a situation that you need to evacuate, I think the number one thing is to try to run away from that situation as quickly as possible. And like Kelly said, most people, they actually sit there and just freeze. And that's what happened actually in Orlando when the Marine actually helped about 70 people out the back door because everyone else froze up. And I experienced a similar situation in Iraq when we got shot at and they threw a grenade at a location that was a couple feet away from me. And everyone froze up during that time because they heard the explosion go off. But there's someone that needs to take charge and to kind of lead others out. This is the exit sign here. You guys go out this way. And that's exactly what that Marine did. So if you're in a hallway, I think it's important to get into a room and lock the door. If you're in a office, I say get under a desk or try to lock the door and try to barricade the door with any type of furniture. But basically, you just need to get out of that situation as fast as you can. And in the event that you cannot do that, I think it's important to try to protect yourself. Right. And what I mean by this is, number one, which I think is very important, is actually silencing your cell phones. Because in an active shooter situation, the shooter's going around looking for people to kill, and then your cell phone goes off, and that's just a red flag.
Yeah. And we talked about actually one of the patients in Orlando said that she played dead. Her eyes were open, and she played dead and looked at and the shooter thought that she was dead.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a great thing to do. If you can't get out of the situation, you can't run. There's really no exit. I think it's very prudent to just lay on the ground and act like you're dead because they'll just hopefully just pass by you. But number two is basically stay silent. I know a lot of people kind of panic and start crying, but it's important to just if you can just remain silent because if they hear your voice or they hear you in the room, they're going to try to enter that room.
You know what? I want to talk more about this, Dr. Webb, because I think you're raising some interesting points, and I want to give our listeners a chance to call in. We have Dr. Antonio J. Webb, the author of Overcoming the Odds. If you ever been in a crisis situation and didn't know how to act or react, call us 888-742-3345.
As everybody said here, with a busy level 1 trauma center, we're used to seeing gunshot wounds. We're used to seeing a multitude of injuries each and every night, but this was somewhat of a surreal experience. We were just given patient after patient after patient, especially our surgical residents, to answer the call at 3:30 in the morning, some of which were on vacation, some of which were, tired and had already been working all week, to come in on a moment's notice to help take care of folks in need, I think speaks volumes of them, and I couldn't be prouder.
Shade 45, we're in the middle of First Aid with Kelly Kinkaid.
Yeah, you were listening to a clip from one of the trauma surgeons, Dr. Will Havern, who was there at the hospital at Orlando taking care of the shooting victims, and people were coming in. And we have Dr. Antonio Webb on the line. And Dr. Webb, you also experienced situations like that while you were serving at the Air Force while over in Iraq, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. We had multiple mass casualties. I was in Iraq in 2005, right outside Baghdad, and multiple times when there were several patients who came in at once, we call this a mass casualty. And this is what we trained for as not only military, but now as a surgeon. Even on a daily basis, I work at a really busy trauma center, and if 6-7 patients come in at once, and then we consider that a mass casualty, and we have to basically prepare for this on a daily basis.
Right. And I one of the things you said, a key word, you all train for this. And as citizens, civilians, we need to get trained. We need to be prepared for situations like that. And I'm so glad that you called and we're talking about the 3 steps that you have as far as PEP, plan, evacuate, and protect. And I think those are great, simple steps that people can kind of remember in a crisis. And Sway, we were talking during the break as far as how can we train? Because sometimes you're in a crisis. Yeah. And if you can talk about your story.
Yeah, Dr. Webb, I was, because part of the preparation being vigilant, knowing where the exits are, kind of being aware, staying present, even if you're in public places, even at basketball games, anywhere you are. Even when I'm at the grocery store, that's how I think. Partially because a lot of folks approach me naturally anyway, so I just kind of, and then the other part is because I'm from Oakland. To evacuate, know where the exit signs are. When you see a sign of danger, just run. Don't look back. I had a friend who was killed because as we were all running from in a shootout, he stopped and looked back, and that moment he stopped and looked back is when he got hit, and this was when we were younger, and he ended up dying. Learning to protect yourself, rather take your cell phones off. If you got to fake like you're dead, then you got to do that. Put barricading the door, those sort of things. But I'm gonna tell you, I had an incident once when I was in a KFC in East Oakland, and I bring up Oakland a lot because we just recently lost a beautiful little angel, a 16-year-old girl who was shot and killed at a visual on the past couple of days. We've been spreading the hashtag Pray for Oakland, and and I remember being a teenager, and I was in a KFC, and I was with a friend, a girl, and a guy walked into KFC, shirt off, real cut up, screaming at the top of his lungs, had a big silver gun in his hand, and he shot off the gun into the ceiling, and he was complaining about something. I think he was on something. Yeah. And my first instinct was, let me get out of here. But that signal didn't make it to my brain, to my legs, and I basically froze too. Like a lot of times your body goes into, it feels like shock. How do you avoid that, or how do you get out of that?
Yeah, that's something that is quite common, and I think is one of those things that people will say, oh, I'm just going to run as soon as this happens, but you really never know until you're in that situation. Like you said, you froze up. I think it's important because most of the active shooters, they only last for 10 to 15 minutes, the majority of them. But those first few seconds, those first few minutes can actually be quite critical. You have to think quickly, and you have to come out of that state like quick as you can. And that's exactly what that Marine did. He said everyone else froze up, and he was screaming at them to open up the door, but no one was really listening. So he actually ran over there and opened up the door for everyone.
Wow. So if you're in shock as a doctor, what would you recommend? Do you try to control your breathing? I mean, what do you do?
Yeah. I think a lot of people have a tendency to their heart rate becomes elevated, their blood pressure becomes elevated, and the way to control that is just basically try to remain calm. And I know that's kind of hard to do in a situation like that, but if you stay calm and control your heart rate, control your blood pressure, and by remaining calm, you can act quickly because your sympathetic nervous system is starting to fire up, and all these catecholamines are being released, and a lot of things are going on. So I think just remaining calm, and that will help you come out of that state a lot quicker.
Okay, Dr. Antonio J. Webb is here. He's the author of the book,
Overcoming the Odds. Okay,
we have Ray from South Carolina on the line. Ray, good morning. How you doing?
Hey, good morning. How y'all doing?
Good
doing
morning.
Great, man.
Doing great.
I'm good. All right, I'm glad y'all talking about this. About 6 years ago, I was at a club, and for some reason, my mind was prepared for something bad to happen because I was like, just looking around the area or whatever. And I just seen how guys were mean mugging each other. But to make a long story short, I seen the guy leave and come back, so I knew something wasn't right. So when it all popped off, my first instincts were to grab people and say, "Come go with me." And luckily, I got a couple of people out the club. But the crazy thing, when the gunshots came outside, my first instinct, I made people get up under their car. Instead of jumping in cars, trying to pull off and run to your car, get up under the car. Don't worry about your outfit. Get up under the car. It's your car. You know it ain't going to crank up. So that was just something that I kind of drill in my head. And I kind of drill it in my son's head, too. If there's a shootout at a club where you at, don't just run to a car. Get up under a car. Yeah. There ain't nobody on the ground shooting up under cars.
Yeah. What do you think about that, Dr. Webb?
Yeah, I think that's an excellent idea. I think a lot of people, where I'm from in Louisiana, there's a lot of shootings also and a lot of gangs. So in Louisiana, a lot of people actually run towards the gunshots to see what's going on. But, if you hear gunshots, just try to get away as quickly as possible. Find any location that you can get into, whether it's under a car or inside of a car. But I think that's an excellent idea.
Okay, hey, Ray, you a citizen?
Of Sway in the Morning.
Yeah, man, you got to run. Bullets don't have no name.
No.
They don't care.
At all.
You're not special. To a bullet, it's not going to stop because you are who you are and circle you. Oh, that's Kelly Kinkaid. Oh, no, we can see.
Right.
We're going to miss her.
We're going to miss her.
Jessica's on the line. Jessica, good morning.
Hi, good morning, Sway and Doctor. How are you guys doing?
Doing great.
So what I wanted to mention, Doctor, was you were discussing basically the fight, flight, or freeze when it comes to being in shock. And I was actually involved in a shooting when I was 13 years old. I witnessed a family member shooting another family member, and my immediate response was to run. And I know that a lot of people get stuck and they freeze, and there's not really a lot you can actually do to really change what your body is doing, because it's really the nervous system that's kind of taking over. So, I mean, you can think that you can, breathe and be calm and everything, but it's such a primal instinct that it's almost impossible to try and slow down and calm down the situation. So for those people who freeze, I mean, is there something that they could do to take a course, or could they, learn more about how they could actually get out of that state and start running? Because if I didn't run, I would have died.
Yeah, and I think it goes back to the first part, which is planning. If you go through these scenarios in your head, and a lot of things are going on in today's society, so if you go into a building like a hospital and you're looking for the exit signs, and you kind of come up with an escape route in your mind, you kind of go through some scenarios in your head. So when it actually happens, you're sort of prepared for it, subconsciously prepared for it. But there's really, like I said, not a lot that you can do in those moments, because when I was in Iraq and we got shot at, there's several times where I actually froze up, and I had troops under me, so I had to actually gather them up and get them to safety. So there's really not much to do but remaining calm, and I think planning actually helps a lot also.
Right.
Hey, Jessica, thanks for your call. You're a citizen, Jessica.
Of Sway in the morning.
Thanks so much. Take care, guys.
Take care. So we'll take more calls, but what I want to do is, we got a bunch of folks, Khalil, John, Sheed, Oscar, Nia, John. These folks all have questions for you, and there's a lot of people that are listening that have questions for you, Dr. Webb. I like to give them access to you directly, if that's okay with you. Do you have?
Absolutely. Yep.
What's your social media? So, citizens, this is a doctor who's going to give you free advice, and also he served in our military. He's an author. He's a motivational speaker. All around great guy.
Surgeon.
He's a virgin.
Surgeon.
Oh, surgeon. Okay. I was like, wow,
Dang,
man.
Dr.
Man,
Webb.
you're pure, dude. So how can they reach you? What's your social media?
Yeah, I'm all over social media. My website is Antonio Webb, that's 2 B's, MD.com. Instagram, it's Overcoming the Odds Book. I'm on Twitter. Dr. Webb is Dr. Webb, WBB 82.
Wait, hold on, slow down.
Facebook.
Dr. Webb
82.
82, yes, sir.
Okay.
Facebook is AWebb MD. Just you search in my name, Antonio Webb MD, and it'll come up. But pretty much on every website, LinkedIn, all of the websites. So you just Google my name, Antonio Webb MD, and there'll be multiple sites that come up.
Overcoming the Odds is the name of the book. From war on the streets in Louisiana to war on terrorism in Iraq, how I successfully overcame the odds. I really appreciate the note you put in the book that you signed for me, Dr. Webb. And,
no problem. Yep.
And I want to say I'm looking forward to meeting you one day as well.
Absolutely. I look forward to meeting you as well.
All right. Thank you for the call. Kelly Kinkaid.
Thank you so much,
man.
Dr. Webb,
Very
for joining
timely,
us today.
Very timely.
Absolutely. And, plan, live your life, everyone. We go through bad times, but the more we plan, we can be prepared. If you want to reach me, I'm on Twitter, Instagram, Kelly Kinkaid, KELLYKINKAID.
All right, what he said is the PEP. It's a plan, evacuate,
and
protect. All right, thank you. Up next, the legendary Larry King is going to join us. We've all seen him do interviews. You want to talk with him directly, it's 888-742-3345.